Hey, Dr. Bob Flower, and it's Tuesday, and our March 6th, 2018 Master Pattern Report brought to you over the GITV International TV Network. Okay, so last week we talked about immigration, and a few viewers got a little upset because we didn't deal with DACA, but we are going to deal with DACA today. That was the plan. We're going to see a little different take on DACA. But just to announce, we're going to do another show this week, probably Friday. I'm going to try and do it Thursday, but probably Friday. And that's going to be on my favorite subject, political correctness. Okay, all right. So let's get into DACA. All right. Now, all of this changes with DACA because of the focus being on the fact that these were young people who were not aware and had no control, no input into coming into this country. Right? So the legality or illegality, although it's still against the law, and although they didn't violate the law, they are subject to the law. Right? That's the way the laws of the country, in most countries, I should say, not only the United States, are written. So, regardless of your compassion and your thinking, they are still subject to the law, and they're in violation of the law, right? Because of the process and the resulting effects of the process that was put in place by their parents or whoever. Okay, so given that, what is our situation? Do we apply the same conditions here? Do we apply the same concepts? Well, no, because of the fact that you do have, let's call them innocent, illegal members of society. But there's one big difference that is prevalent with DACAs, and that is they have already assimilated into the culture, and that's big. Back in the 1980s, when the end of the 89, 90, when Reagan and the Congress dealt with the open borders and millions of illegals came in, there was a law passed, which the name escapes me, by a congressman, which prohibited any further immigration into the country. I think it was for 8 years, in order for the country to have these people assimilate. Now, the assimilation is critical in order to maintain the purpose, the mission, the spirit of American culture, right? We don't have that now. Don't forget, we're talking about somewhere between 10 and 12 million illegals have been coming into this country for over the past 15, 16, 17 years. We have, and we're seeing the effects of the fact that, for instance, this Guatemala M13 gang, right? We're seeing the effects of the non-assimilation. So it's a big factor. It's a big factor in being accepted in. Okay, so what are we looking at here? We're looking at changing the law, which would make them eligible for membership into society. So that changes. The process, which we're going to talk about in a second, is secondary. And then the priority here. I mean, now, Now, this is something we should talk about right now, because what's happening is we're seeing that DACA is a priority in the minds of many people and in Congress, but it's not happening once again because of the focus or leadership focusing on power and control. All right. The priority, while it's well up there, is still not heavy enough, significant enough for it to happen yet. But I have a feeling that what seems to be happening now is a lot of the DACA people are taking it against both sides. They're going after the Democrats, which is going to force eventually a resolution here. So that's good. That's good, okay? People, power to the people. All right. So that's what's happening here. The feedback coming from the DACAs is that, hey, we don't care what your game is. We want to be included in this country, okay? And that's having a very powerful effect. And of course, the details of where we're having a problem right now, because the president wants one thing. He wants the wall. He wants to eliminate the lottery, and he wants to eliminate the string of relatives. Okay. So how do we deal with this? What do we do? Well, it seems to me that the details and the process need to be worked out, and they need to be worked out physically, emotionally. We're not even going to talk about that, because really that shouldn't come into play, and the spirit, and also mentally, so that we could change what's going to happen. So let's look at a possible process that combines the physical with the process. All right. So we've already said that they can change the laws, right? Which is what they're trying to do right now. So okay. So that takes that equation off the table. What's the process? What seems to be the top model here is that there should be 10 or 15 year entry into citizenship. Now, whether it's going to be citizenship or just plain American induction are different things here. Okay, so if we say under DACA, we're going to talk about possible citizenship. How do we do that? How do we get this? Okay, so what we do is we develop a priority which is timing. Right? So this goes with timing, and that would be somewhere between 10, 12, or 15 years. All right. And then we talk about costs that we've incurred, the physical factors, the material, the logistics, in supporting these families. Right. So what we should consider here is a charge for citizenship, for the path to citizenship. And perhaps we should have something like maybe $1,000 a year. Now think about this. $1,000 a year times 18 million will give us it'll give us $18 billion a year income. In 2 years, we have the wall paid off. So that issue can be resolved by simply invoking this process. All right, so this process goes here, all right? The citizenship issue would go by a vetting process. And what we could do is set up points, right? Critical points for your path to citizenship. Certain things, like for instance, if you have a college education, you get certain points. If you're a professional, you get certain points. If you're a property owner, you get certain points, okay? If you write a book, you get certain points, or things of that nature, okay? So that process there can be, let's call this, the model would be a points system, and this would be, it would be critical, okay? And we connect those two with the mental side of it. All right, so now really the only issue that we have outstanding is this definitely a path to citizenship, or is it just simply a path into the country? And what I'm suggesting here is this vetting process be critical. In other words, if in fact we find a DACA who's a criminal, got a criminal record, non-acceptance, they go back, right? If we find them where they have a history of governmental support, they've been on welfare for 10 years, okay? No, that would be a negative, right? Those things would play a critical role in determining that. Now, the only objection to this is that this is a democratic ploy to increase the voter strength for the Democratic Party. But if you stretch this out over 10 to 15 years, and both sides can contribute and are attributable to this whole process being accepted, I gotta put this in here, we have a totally different picture. At least we should have. All right. So this plus this plus this, which I believe we are already experiencing in many cases. These people are just as American as most, because they've been born and raised here, and they have assimilated. They have integrated into the society in a very positive fashion, just the way our other immigrant waves have. Now, part of the other process is and this will come under the model that we're talking about here, is the limitation on numbers. Okay? This has to be in effect. You have to, for a number of reasons, a number of very logical reasons. Number one, you have to limit any further immigration in, because number one, it's unfair to take in any other illegals when you have a number of other people who are going through the proper channels, using the proper process, and they're not coming in. Okay? So what we need to do is we need to have a criteria. We need to establish some priorities here as to how many people are coming in after this is done, and then properly vet them, right? And again, the whole, where are we here? The number, the 10 to 12, the timing, the 10 to 12 years, again, 10 to 15 years is a possibility if we start off year one with, a minimum, just for argument's sake, 100,000 a year of any immigrants. 150,000 the second year. And build it up to a given number that's reasonable. Okay. And again, the vetting process using some sort of point criteria as to the value of the individual, but not necessarily at a line. I mean, somebody it becomes a DACA, becomes a plumber, okay, as compared to somebody who has a PhD. Well, I would think that that's an equal contribution to society, and if they go on and have their own business or they're independent, that's an additional criteria point that would go in their favor. Okay, so there's a number of different vetting postures that we need to address here. Okay, let me hear if there's anything that I've left out. I think the biggest point here is the path to citizenship that can be put off long enough so that it doesn't become a threat, and these people. By the way, my own experience with these people is that I got to tell you, they're more conservative than they are liberal. So this whole thing could be this could backfire on the Democrats down the road. Okay, they're very, very religious people, and they have a high sense of values and virtues. And I'm not too sure that they're going to be red, or blue, that they're not going to be red, and that they're going to be blue. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so I think we're looking at this. This doesn't become an issue any longer. This is okay. The temperance factor. I mean, listen, $1,000 a year. Some of these illegals coming in are paying $5,000, $8,000, $10,000. I mean, I don't know where they're getting this money, but they're coming in. They're paying these wolves, these border violators, to get them into the country. I mean, hell, $1,000 a year, assessment. What the hell is that? And just think of the additional funding that's going to be executed, realized by virtue of that. And I think that kind of takes away a lot of the issues, the material issues that we've had in the past about the whole immigration factor. But most importantly, don't overlook the American spirit and the process of assimilation that's already been inculcated with these people. Okay? All right. So just a quick announcement here. Let me step off camera for a second, and Our new book, 21 Holiday Avenue, The Spirit of Success, is available at our website. It will soon, it's coming out 2 weeks, Phil? We're not sure yet, but we do have some copies, hard copies and soft copies, soft cover. The hard copies are $29.95. The soft covers are $12.99 plus shipping. So if you want, I'll give you an autographed copy. You can order them on our website, right? It's Dr. Bob, drbobflower.com. And with the next couple of weeks, I'm sure it's going to be on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and whatnot. So, but here we are. Fast, quick read, great review, and some really wonderful testimonials. Okay, yeah, you'll enjoy it. There's some good anecdotes in there that I'm sure you're going to like. Okay, so that's it for this show. Again, we're going maybe Thursday, definitely by Friday, we're going to have another one, and we're going to deal with this political correctness, so we're going to have some fun with this one. Okay, have a good one. I'll see you real soon.